We have some huge news from Stellantis today regarding a new powertrain that we've actually made several videos about. And so with all that being said, let's just dive right into this new engine. So the Hurricane is finally here. The twin turbo 3-liter inline 6 we've been talking about for quite some time. And yeah, we'll talk about how this is going to change the brands under the Stellantis umbrella quite a bit. Obviously, since I have a huge Ram following, I will talk about how this is going to change things with the Ram lineup, because I know a lot of you are concerned and I want to know on that. But let's talk about the specs on this powertrain first. So like I said, twin turbo 3-liter inline 6. It's most likely going to be paired to the ZF 8-speed automatic transmission that they already use across the brands, and that just makes sense. BMW does the same thing with an inline 6, so yeah, it's just a natural pairing. Now, if you guys are wondering the reason why they're doing twin turbo instead of single turbo, because BMW does a single turbo inline 6, they're going to have a turbocharger for every 3 cylinders, and so that should help mitigate turbo lag to make it feel quicker. Now, there's going to be 2 different power outputs right off the bat. There's going to be the standard version, which has over 400 horsepower and over 450 pound-feet of torque. It's going to have a red line of 5,800 RPMs, 22.5 pounds of boost. You're going to be able to run it on 87 octane, but 91 is going to be recommended. And again, that is the base powertrain. You're going to have a high output version, just like what Ford does with their 3.5 EcoBoost, right? You've got the regular and the regular F-150, and then you have the high output in the Raptor. This is going to have over 500 horsepower, and then it's going to have over 475 pound-feet of torque. PSI is higher, 26 pounds. Pretty crazy. Redline's also higher, 6,100 RPMs. And then this one's going to have to be run off of 91. There's not going to be the ability to do 87. I mean, unless, you want to see your cylinder skyrocket to the moon. No, I'm just kidding. But they have those 2 different powertrain setups. Now, let's talk about Stellantis's plan with this powertrain. So, in their kind of like media release with this, they kind of emphasized that this gets better fuel economy than V8 powertrains, and they just kept saying V8 powertrains. And they said it also is going to have higher power outputs than V8 powertrains. And so this is them hinting at, hey, this is the replacement for our V8 powertrains. And we all know that Stellantis is getting rid of the Hellcat engine and the 6.4 Hemi after the 2023 model year, or they might not even be available for 2023. There's no confirmation on that. I've made videos about that in the past. And so this is the powertrain to replace the 6.4 Hemi, and guess what? Also the 5.7 Hemi. So the base tune is the engine that's going to replace the 5.7 Hemi. If you look at the power outputs with the 5.7 Hemi, it produces 395 horsepower and then 410 pound-feet of torque in the Ram 1500. In other vehicles, it has different tunes, like with the Durango RT, it's like 360 horsepower, and then with a Challenger RT, it's like 390 horsepower. So basically, if this powertrain has over 400 horsepower and over 450 pound-feet of torque, it beats the 5.7 Hemi no matter what vehicle it's in by a substantial margin in torque, and also a pretty substantial, well, not as much of a substantial margin in horsepower, but still it beats it. And it's also going to get better fuel economy as well. So what you can expect from the base powertrain is with Ram 1500s, this will be the standard powertrain. 2023 will probably be the first year that they'll offer this in the Ram 1500. And I'm guessing they'll do like a transition period where you'll be able to buy a Hemi or the new inline 6, and they'll probably start the inline 6 in the higher up packages. That's just my guess. That's not confirmed at all. And so they'll kind of like slowly transition it throughout the year, and then they'll probably get rid of the 5.7 Hemi by 2024, maybe 2025. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's how it's going to affect the Ram 1500. It's also going to affect the Ram 2500 as well. They're going to throw this in the 2500. That is in the plans. And I thought that they weren't going to get rid of the V8 with the 2500 because the fuel economy restrictions on heavy-duty trucks aren't as strict as they are in light-duty trucks. And so I thought, oh, they're going to just carry that engine out for, as long as they possibly can. But sounds like, you know what, that's not the route that they're going. So yeah, Ram 2500 probably will have a base engine that is a twin-turbo inline 6. And then also stuff like the Jeep Gladiator, Grand Cherokee, Wagoneer, Grand Wagoneer, Wrangler, all that. And the ones that excite me the most actually are the Grand Cherokee, Jeep Gladiator, and Jeep Wrangler, and then also Dodge Durango on the Dodge side of things, and then Dodge Challenger and Charger will also have this base powertrain. But back to the Jeeps. if you have a Wrangler and a Gladiator that have like a powertrain that has this, because I mean, obviously, you guys know I have a Wrangler 392 now, and that's crazy, and that's so much fun. And then imagining, you know, that being more available, like that type of power that a 392 has, and actually getting good fuel economy in those vehicles, that is super exciting to me. Now, we have the high output version. This is supposed to replace the 392 engine. Again, the 6.4 Hemi and the Dodge Challenger, Charger, Jeep Grand Cherokee, which you can't get that engine in the Grand Cherokee anymore anyways. And then also the Jeep Wrangler as well. I'm sure they're gonna do, again, a high performance version of the Jeep Wrangler with this high output powertrain. And that's why, again, if you look at the 6.4 Hemi, it produces on the highest tunes, 485 horsepower, and then like 475 pound-feet of torque. And so if this is gonna have over 500 horsepower, it already beats the 6.4 Hemi in horsepower. And if it's gonna have over 475 pound-feet of torque, they're saying it's gonna beat the 6.4 Hemi in torque as well. So they're just trying to beat their two V8 powertrains just slightly, right? And then obviously it's gonna get better fuel economy. So any of the SRT models across the Stellantis brands are now going to be inline 6. We'll see if they still call them, I mean, I'm sure they'll still call them SRTs. We'll see exactly what happens. That'll probably make quite a few people upset, but that's kind of that transition. Now, obviously, there's two elephants in the room. We're going to discuss the smaller elephant. So are they still going to use the 3.6 liter V6? Potentially, because that gets decent fuel economy, and that's still a good entry-level engine to keep the cost down. So I think you're still going to be able to get a V6 like Ram 1500 or Dodge Challenger, Charger, Grand Cherokee, all that. But maybe they'll eventually phase that out to just sell the turbo 2-liter in those cars. I do see potential for that, getting rid of the V6 and then only doing the turbo 2-liter 4-cylinder. So just understand that could happen, but different engine. Now, the bigger elephant is what's going to replace the Hellcat. So I made another video about this, and I'll quickly go over this in this video. The Hellcat is going to be all electric in the future. There's not going to be a crazy tune on this twin turbo inline 6 to make like a twin turbo inline 6 Hellcat. What's going to happen instead is you're just going to have an EV Hellcat. And Dodge talked about this, that they're at the upper limits for that supercharged V8 to get more power out of it reliably and for it to make sense. And so, yeah, that's going to be electrified. So basically, to fully sum things up, in about a year to 2 years from now, when you walk into a Dodge, Ram, Jeep, Chrysler store, you're going to see a lineup of Ram 1500s with inline 6s, right? Some of them are going to have, you know, the low output, and some of them are going to have the high output. You're going to see Dodge Challengers and Chargers, same thing. And you're also going to potentially see all those vehicles in the lowest down packages with 4 cylinders as well, the 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. Maybe we'll have a 4xe Ram. Who knows? They have so many powertrains now that they're probably going to throw in every single powertrain into every single vehicle to just try to hit every single demographic. And then you'll have, again, you know, Gladiators and Wranglers, again, with this powertrain. And then when you walk into the showroom floor, you're going to see a Hellcat. And then when you start it up, you're not going to hear anything other than the slight whirring of the electric motors, because it's going to be all electric. So, yeah, get ready for things to change pretty fast. Let me know what you guys think about this new powertrain. If you are planning on trading in your whatever Stellantis product you own for this powertrain, or if, you know, you're going to be ride or die with the Hemi V8s, and if you're going to hold them and never get rid of them because no engine is good if it's not a V8. I don't know. Anyways, I'll see you guys.